Panera Bread. Explore a menu full of hearty soups, hand-tossed salads, inventive sandwiches, and savory breakfast items. Panera Bread, where every detail matters. And by Thoroughbred Ford. Thoroughbred Ford buys cars, trucks, and SUVs outright, so talk to Thoroughbred Ford before you sell. Well, you don't need to tell the Texas Rangers about Zach Greinke. He's had a great year. But the Royals may need to take a look at Scott Feldman's numbers. He's having a good year.
Well, he really is, Ryan. And the Kia scouting report on Scott Feldman is that he's a converted reliever. He will change arm angles from three-quarter to sidearm. But the thing about him is he's got a tough cutter and a tough slider, and a tough sinker to go with that. So the Royals will have their hands full tonight with Scott Feldman.
The Rangers aren't having a great year on offense. Here's the M&I Bank batting order, but they still hit a lot of home runs. Ian Kinsler's a perfect example. His average is down to 248, but they're getting 23 home runs from their leadoff man. Josh Hamilton is just back from the disabled list. Nelson Cruz having a good year. He was an all-star this year. Should be a good pitching matchup tonight. Zach Greinke for the Royals, Scott Feldman for the Rangers. Definition by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. Ron Washington has plenty of reasons to smile lately with his team 11 games above 500, 3.5 back of the Angels, who just swept the Royals. And with their success, Ron Washington had his option picked up for next year. That was last month, so he will manage the Rangers for a 4th season next year. Zach Greinke has thrown 2 shutouts this year. His first was against the Rangers in April. Here's the Kia scouting report.
That's right. Zach likes to face Josh Hamilton. He's 0 for 10 against Zach with 5 strikeouts. Had some trouble with Ian Kinsler, though. 300 average. with him probably that first pitch fastball, trying to get established is the deal. But run support is that what this has hurt Zach all year. With some run support, he could easily have 13 wins by now.
All he needed was one run when he beat the Rangers back on April the 18th. 10 strikeouts and 9 shutout innings. He actually got 2 runs, so he didn't get a whole lot of run support in that one. Zach is 3-3 in his career against the Rangers. And that hopefully is a sign of things to come. At the knees, over the outside corner to Ian Kinsler, who has had an odd year. His batting average is way down, 248. The Rangers have gotten 23 home runs and 59 RBIs from their leadoff man.
Well, that's production on one side. That's where you say you make the best of your base hits, Ryan. You look at the batting average, it's down, but it means you get some big hits and 23 home runs. You get to put a few 2-run and 3-run homers in there. That makes a huge difference.
Chasing a fastball at 97 that was shoulder high. So Greinke really has Kinsler on the defensive. Kinsler started his college career at ASU, finished it at Mizzou. 1 ball, 2 strikes. When the Royals were in Texas in April, Ian Kinsler was fresh off hitting for the cycle against the Orioles. He had just gone 6 for 6 and hitting for the cycle 2 days before the first game of the series, and Zach made him look bad with a slider and opens the game with a strikeout. Starting to feel a little bit more like summer in Kansas City. Got up in the 90s today. Right now, right at 90 degrees. We started on time at 7:10. And the official time and temp presented by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. So 1 down to Michael Young. And a fastball with some life. Zach appears to have his A game in this first inning. Michael Young comes in tonight having hit in 6 straight games. Didn't go around, says Mike Schlinsky at first base.
Well, watch the bat head and you watch the wrist, and the bat clearly went out in front of the plate, but they always look at the wrist to see if that bat head comes ahead of the wrist, and he held it back pretty good.
Well, Zach has some amazing life on his fastball.
Well, he's coming out and establishing the fastball, and he's keeping it out of the middle of the plate, and that's what he likes to do, and that really makes his secondary pitches that much more effective.
2-2 now on Michael Young. Royals took 2 out of 3 from the Rangers when they were in Arlington in April. Michael Young ended the 3rd game with a home run off of Kyle Farnsworth, keeping the Royals from a 3-game sweep. Only had 3 hits in the series, with the game winner in the final game. Little high. So a strikeout and now a walk. And 1 on, 1 out in the first inning. And now Josh Hamilton. He's been on the disabled list a couple of times. Second time he had abdominal surgery. He is just 2 for his last 21. 96 with a fastball, strike 1 on Hamilton. Last year, Josh Hamilton, in his first year in the American League, led the league with 130 RBIs, and you can see where he was a year ago. He had 70 more RBIs at this point.
Well, he had one of those years, Ryan, that you call a breakout year. One of those years that pop up there, and it's hard to repeat a year like that back to back. And he did everything he hit was out of the ballpark. Every time a man in the score position, you're getting a base hit. So everything is lining up for you all year. And then this year you come back, you get off to a slow start. You have injuries, cost you some time, and just don't get that timing back.
He was not swinging the bat well when the Royals were in Texas in April. Royals held him to 0 for 13 with 8 strikeouts, and it wasn't long after that he went on the disabled list for the first time.
Well, the thing they did with him there was they did what Zach's doing right now. They pounded him up and in with fastballs. Then they really slowed the ball down on him and got him out front. He chased a lot of bad pitches out of the strike zone, breaking balls especially, down in the zone.
I can picture in my mind as you say it, some big Gil Mesh and big Zach Greinke curveballs giving him a bad time. And again, hard inside, and it's 1-2. Zach took a no decision on Saturday against Tampa Bay in his last start, but pitched very well. Just 1 run in 7 innings. Now it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gave up quite a few hits, at least for his standards. 9 hits, but only 8 were singles. He also walked 3, so 12 base runners for Tampa Bay in 7 innings, but they left 8 on base, and in typical Zach fashion, he'll allow base runners, but it seems when they get into scoring position, he takes his game to another level. Still 2-2 on Hamilton.
Yeah, right now, Ryan, looks like he's trying to find that right height on his hard slider. Right now, he's coming up a little too short, and it's not really one of those pitches hitters. They noticed him right away. It's a ball, and now they took a little bit off of it and extended it a little bit, but once he finds the range for the slider, he's going to be very, very tough tonight.
Got it that time, and the second strikeout of the inning. So Hamilton 0 for 14 with 9 strikeouts against the Royals this year.
Yeah, what you're looking for is that one there, Ryan, the one that doesn't really bounce in the dirt, that has to be blocked, but one that the catcher can actually come very close to catching, and it's really enticing to the hitter. He starts it at the knees, they commit to it, and it's down around the ankles when they swing at it.
So 3 non-contact plate appearances. Strikeout, walk, strikeout. And Michael Young at first for Marlon Byrd. That's a good pitch on the outside, 0-1. Michael Young has stolen 6 bases this year. The Rangers are 3rd in the league in stolen bases. Off of Alex's glove, recovers, and too late. So couldn't handle the short hop, and that puts 2 on for Blaylock. Royals defensively tonight have David DeJesus, Willie Bloomquist, and Mark Teahan in the outfield, with Jose Guillen on the disabled list. Alex Gordon at third was just charged with an error, with Betancourt, Callaspo, and Butler. And Brian Pena behind the plate for the second time with Zach Greinke on the mound. So this is just the second time in 20 starts this year that Miguel Olivo has not been behind the plate when Zach Greinke's on the hill. So an air charge to Gordon puts 2 on for Blaylock.
Well, when you're a power pitcher, Ryan, you don't need to face any more hitters than you really need to face, and you want to get your 3 outs in the inning and get out of there. But you get 4 outs and 5 outs, then that makes it tough for a guy like Zach. No matter as good as he is, that mounts up later on in the game.
And Blaylock hits a 2-hopper to Callaspo, and that's the inning. Rangers strand 2 in the first. Their lineup. Let's check in for the first time with Joel Goldberg.
Well, you know, we talk, guys, so much about injuries, and you can't always control those. You also can't control health when it comes to being sick, and the Texas Rangers battered this week by the flu, and they've got Taylor Teagarden in there catching tonight because Jared Saltalamacchia is coming down with some symptoms. Omar Vizquel is getting over it. Frank Francisco, Vicente Padillo. Francisco had the worst of it with the walking pneumonia earlier in the week. I went to shake hands with a member of the Rangers earlier today, and he gave me the good old fist bump, said no shaking hands this week. They are trying to get better as this flu has ravaged them. Guys, we'll go back upstairs to you, and then I'm going to head up to the Hall of Fame in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Joel. So David DeJesus, Willie Bloomquist, and Billy Butler coming up against Scott Feldman. Well, even if guys are getting over the flu, and you can lose quite a bit of your bodily fluids when you're going through that on a hot, humid day in Kansas City, this really isn't the type of game that you want to run someone out there, even if he tells the manager, I'm feeling better today.
Well, you always talk about, when you talk about losing a lot of the bodily fluids, basically you're talking dehydration, and that's the thing you want to try to stay away from. You want to try to get players healthy, and the good thing is not cold weather, it's warm weather, and they can go back to the hotel, they can get whatever they need to do in order to get better, they can get better. But you're right, in hot weather, dehydration, that's not a good combination for the flu.
David with 5 hits and 3 walks in the Angels series, so he continues to improve, get on base, average up to 265. Royals lineup presented by M&I Bank. Mark Tien's going to continue to hit 4th, and now with Guillen out, Callaspo will bat 5th. Jacobs back in there, and Brian Pena getting the start. He'll hit 7th. Jesus lays off the breaking ball. It's 2-2. The next time that Scott Feldman retires David DeJesus will be the first. David is 5 for 5 against Feldman with a home run, and he's walked 4 times. So 9 plate appearances, 9 times getting on. Feldman has had speaking of breakout seasons, he's had one with 8 wins. It's 3-2 on DeJesus. Outstanding numbers as far as hits per innings pitched. The league is only hitting .233 against him. Got his walks down. And DeJesus now on base for the 10th straight plate appearance against Feldman. The defense behind Feldman tonight: Marlon Byrd, Josh Hamilton, and all-star Nelson Cruz in the outfield. Michael Young, the rookie Elvis Andrus, with Ian Kinsler and Hank Blaylock, and Taylor Teagarden behind the plate for Feldman. Ball 1 to Willie Bloomquist, who had a tough time against the Angels, just 1 out of 14. And with that in mind, we'll see if Trey Hillman has something in mind to push a run across in the first inning with Bloomquist up there, and DeJesus, who is running, and something in mind was a hit and run, but no contact, and David is caught stealing easily. 1 out, nobody on.
Well, when you're the hitter with the hit and run, you got to really cut your swing down and try to play pepper with the pitcher and try to hit the ball hard on the ground. Feldman threw a good 2-seamer down and in, and Willie didn't get the bat on it, and David, it was a sure dead out at second base.
And now hit hard to right. Cruz started in but recovers and gets Bloomquist 2 down. Well, the Royals were already having problems scoring runs. Last in the league coming in tonight, but now you lose Jose Guillen, and Trey Hillman has to be even more creative now with ways to try and get runners across home plate.
Well, Ronnie's got to look for the combination, and that's one of his best combinations right there, with Bloomquist at the plate and David on first. And like I say, on the hit and run, you got to hope you get a pitch you can put the bat on, and that's the hitter's responsibility, because the base runner's running under the protection of the hitter in this situation and not trying to actually steal a base.
Billy just 2 hits against the Angels, one of them a home run. He has just 2 RBIs on the homestand, and this is the 7th game of the homestand. Ahead in the count, 3-0. Feldman, a big guy, 6'5", 210 pounds. So he has a good downward plane to work with, and when he's on, gets a lot of ground balls. Fills out the count, 3-2 on Billy Butler. I was talking to hitting coach Kevin Seitzer about Feldman before the game, and he said right now he's got a sinker and a cutter moving that the pitches are starting down the middle of the plate to the hitters, and they just can't tell is it going to go one way or the other. So a leadoff walk, runner caught stealing, a fly out and a ground out, and Feldman's out of the first. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by Taco Bell, try the new bacon cheesy potato burrito. It's big bacon taste, guys can't resist. Zach with a scoreless first inning, a couple of strikeouts, giving him 138 this year. And what has become a tradition now at Kauffman Stadium, fans bringing out their Zach signs with their K's to add to the end of his name. Some have been using Z's to represent his strikeouts, and he's had some big strikeout nights. 0-1 to Nelson Cruz, who went to the All-Star game. Zach's biggest strikeout game this year has been 10. He's done that 3 times, and the first was against these Rangers. Again, there's that late action and catching the outside corner. It's 0-2 to Cruz. Nelson Cruz is a guy to watch out for. This being his first game at Kauffman Stadium. Continues to get better. A former minor league player of the year with the Brewers, traded to the Rangers in a deal for Carlos Lee a few years ago. Zach strikes out his third. Saturday afternoons were made for baseball, and this week Fox brings you the National Game of the Week as Albert Pujols leads the Cardinals into Philadelphia to take on Chase Utley and the Phillies. Or you might see the Twins and the Angels. Fox Saturday Baseball this week at 3 p.m. Central on Fox. Fouled away by David Murphy. Murphy last year at Kauffman Stadium. His first ever 2 home run game in the big leagues and his first major league grand slam. Hit that off of Jimmy Gobble. Former first round pick of the Red Sox in 03 out of Baylor. 2-1. Well, you see the Rangers at 11 games above 500, and a little bit of a surprise to see how much they have struggled, at least compared to what they've done in years past on offense. 12th in the league in team batting average. Last year they were the best in the league. 8th in the league in runs scored. Again, led the league in that department last year. They're still hitting home runs, but stealing more bases, pitching a lot better, and as we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, doing a much better job on defense, which is a Ron Washington specialty. Making 4 punch outs for Zach as he gets Murphy 2 down in the second inning.
Well, you're right, Ryan. That's what Ron Washington talked about mostly in the pregame. As you see Zach throw his fastball right on the inside corner, just froze Murphy with that pitch. But he talked about if they had any of the offense they've had in the past, they would clearly be in first base with the way they're running the bases and the way they're pitching, and basically he really thinks the defense has really picked up.
And now 0-1 on Taylor Teagarden. Well, they were hitting all the home runs you could ever dream of, but they couldn't get anyone out, either on the mound or with the glove. Alex handles that hot shot, charged with an error in the first inning, but this play gives Greinke a 1-2-3 second inning. He has already struck out 4, 2 in the first, 2 here in the second. Going back to last year, Zach Greinke now with 18 consecutive scoreless innings against the Rangers, but they do have some dangerous Rangers in their lineup. Here's You Call It, presented by Sprint. Who do you think is most dangerous? A, Nelson Cruz, B, Josh Hamilton, C, Ian Kinsler, or D, Michael Young? Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, a space, A, B, C, or D. Standard text rates apply.
I think I'd have to go with C, Ryan.
Really?
Yes.
Because of what he does at the plate and on defense?
Well, the fact that he's a leadoff guy and he's got 23 homers and 59 RBI, and on top of that, the 21 stolen bases. So he's getting on base, and that's a leadoff guy, and that's if the leadoff guy goes, so you go. And I think he's right now. Last year, we've been Josh Hamilton last year, the year that he had, and you like the fact that Nelson Cruz has come on, and he's got 23 homers also. But I think just being at the top of that order, and those 21 stolen bases, sets him apart for me.
Tian fights it off and singles to left. The Royals have the leadoff man on in 2 straight innings. DeJesus was caught stealing on a busted hit and run play. And that brings up Alberto Callaspo. Well, I'm going to go with Michael Young. How about that? Because of his experience. Last year was the first time in 6 seasons he didn't have at least 200 hits. And the series that he had against the Royals in April, a good example, really didn't do anything until his final at bat of the series. He saved the best for last and won it with a home run. Poked to left, almost misplayed by Marlon Byrd. So Callaspo's out on 1 pitch. Tian back to first. So I'm just going to go with, I don't know, over the course of the whole series, but I'm going to go with the game on the line. If I'm Ron Washington, I want Michael Young at the plate. So Young and Kinsler, that's who we're going with.
That's who we're going with. They're going to duke it out.
So 1 on 1 out, and now Mike Jacobs, who's going to get more playing time with Jose Guillen on the disabled list. Playing time all of a sudden was hard to come by for Jacobs. Alex Gordon actually was the one who kind of pushed him out, with Alex coming back from the DL. Mark Tian moving over to first base. Billy Butler to DH. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I talked to Mike Jacobs before the game, Brian, and I asked him, I said, if there's one phase of your game that you'd like to improve the second half, what would it be? And he said, getting men in from third with less than 2 outs. He feels that he failed so much in that situation the first half that if he'd been successful half the time, he'd be leading the team in RBI. So that's the one area he wants to vastly improve the second half of the season.
Well, for the first couple months of the season, he was leading the Royals in RBIs. Case in point, with Jacobs losing playing time, he only had 4 at-bats in the Angels series. Broke his bat. Out at second. And Blaylock was able to keep his foot on the bag, and that's the inning. So Feldman allows a leadoff man to get on in 2 straight innings, but has faced the minimum. Also, the subject of this week's AMCO AA MCO Clutch Play of the Week. 7 strikeouts in 7 innings Saturday against Tampa Bay.
Well, he did a great job against Tampa Bay, just mixing both of his fastball and his slider. And that's the one thing that makes Zach what he is that slider, just what you just saw right there, and being able to utilize it with 2 strikes, especially the left-handed hitters. and they just continue to swing at it when it makes it really tempting for them, and this finishing off with that high fastball.
Took a no decision as the Royals lost the game late 4-2. Here's 20-year-old Elvis Andrus, and the Rangers are just thrilled with the way he's playing. All they wanted from him this year was his glove, and he's given him a .254 average. He's stolen 19 bases. He won't turn 21 until a month from Sunday.
I think the one thing that they really had to get with him on, Ryan, was the routine play. You know, just don't worry about the great play, just make the routine play. And they say ever since they sit him down and talk to him about that, he's been much better at it.
Showing bunt. Had a big RBI for the Rangers on Wednesday, laying down a suicide squeeze bunt. On opening day, Andrus, the youngest player in the major leagues. 3 balls, 1 strike. And being mentored by the oldest player in the major leagues, Omar Vizquel, who is all of a sudden 42 years old. Past Alex, and Betancourt with a nice throw on the run. 1 down in the 3rd inning. Tonight's Roadrunner Turbo Speed Pitch comparison has Zach at 97 in the first 2 innings, and Feldman topping out at 94. Now fast is even faster. Double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. So the Rangers hitless, first time through the order against Zach, and now Ian Kinsler, who looked bad striking out on a slider in the first inning. And now takes a fastball for strike 1. Kinsler, a .390 career hitter against the Royals. That's the best average for him against any American League team. And perhaps another reason why Frank called him the most dangerous Ranger, maybe just basing that on what he's done against the Royals. Ball, 2 strikes. Zach struck him out in the first inning. Here's the Arby's pitch by pitch. Keep in mind the last swing. Does it make the list?
That's right. Well, Zach wanted to come out and establish his fastball, and he did, Ryan. Just pounding the ball on the outer half of the plate, keeping it out of the middle, and then he goes with this dynamite slider on the outer half of the plate.
Another play for Betancourt. Long throw is low, and Billy can't handle it. Well, if someone stayed at the bag, they might have had a shot at getting Kinsler, who had taken about 4 or 5 steps towards second base, but there was no one there. And Aras charged to Betancourt.
Well, this is going to be a tough play right here, but he had to get rid of it real fast. And a lot of times shortstop to try to throw this one hop on purpose. And that was a ball that clearly could have been catchable from Billy's standpoint. Had a nice long hop. Billy had his arm back. See how he moved his glove back on this one? If he extends, he probably makes a catch right there. His arm went so far back that he was actually in the baseline and was bumped by Kinsler when he went by.
So the Royals have committed 2 errors. Gordon in the first inning, and now Betancourt in the 3rd. And now Michael Young with a runner at first, 1 out. Right to Callaspo. That is the definition of a tailor-made double play. So Zach faces only 3 in the 3rd. homestand to honor community leaders from outside Kansas City, and tonight we honor Tony Studi from Wichita. First became a volunteer with Big Brother Big Sisters in 1974, and since then has had 4 matches mentoring young men who needed a father figure. Was named the Big Brother of the Year for his chapter in 2004, and tonight he enjoys the game from the Buck O'Neill Legacy seat. Ryan Pena snapped his bat, and Blaylock to Feldman, 2 pitches, 1 out. And now Alex Gordon. Feldman very steady this year. And it's interesting looking at his pitching log for 2009. Every single start is somewhere in between 5 innings or 6 2/3. So Ron Washington pretty much knows what he's going to get from Feldman. He doesn't have any starts where he's only gone 4 innings or 3 innings. He doesn't have any starts where he's gone 7 or 8 innings. 16 consecutive starts, somewhere in between 5 innings and 6 2/3.
That might have something to do with him being a converted reliever and learning how to become a starter and how to minimize his pitches to go deeper in the game.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Royals alumni batting practice is coming up on Saturday, September the 12th here at Kauffman Stadium, 8 a.m. until noon. It's $300 for adults 25 or older. You'll have a light breakfast here at Kauffman Stadium. You'll stretch on the field. You can hit in the cages, and then out to the field where you'll take batting practice with former Royals. Field ground balls, fly balls on the Kauffman Stadium playing surface. You're going to get shorts and a t-shirt along with an autographed alumni ball and 4 ticket vouchers to a game in 2010. Alex is down on strikes, and nobody hams it up more than home plate umpire Tom Hallion on a called 3rd strike. When you're called out on strikes with Hallion behind the plate, you know it.
I guess they have to go and practice their 3rd strike call. You always wonder how they come up with the moves that they come up with.
I'm assuming there have been a few hitters who've been turned off by that over the years. Along the lines of, why are you so excited about ringing me up? And by the way, how come when I turn around and look at you after you make the call, I'm seeing your back and not your face? 1-2 on Betancourt.
So would you say the 3rd strike call is more the umpire's style?
Yes.
Yeah, because you strike 1, strike 2, and all of a sudden strike 3. It's a showtime, you know. It's like, man.
It's not quite Leslie Nielsen from the movie Naked Gun, but it's not that far either. Betancourt pokes it into center field, so down in the count, reaching out and making contact. And the Royals have at least 1 base runner in the first 3 innings against Betancourt. Tomorrow is Christmas in July, supporting the Salvation Army. 20,000 fans will receive a powder blue Royals stocking, and all fans can enjoy a winter wonderland in the outfield experience with snow, Christmas music, cookies, photos with Santa, and more. Luke Hochevar will pitch for the Royals, and Derek Holland, Rangers' big pitching prospect, a lefty, will start for Texas. David walked leading off the first inning, then was caught stealing for the 6th time this year. And it's worth mentioning again that Scott Feldman has never retired David DeJesus. David with 10 consecutive plate appearances, reaching against Feldman. 5 hits, 5 walks, one of the hits a home run. On the outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Betancourt with 3 stolen bases this year, all those with Seattle. Thrown out once. And it's always a running situation with the leadoff man at the plate and 2 outs in the inning. Not running. And it's 2-1 on David, who has gone back to the facial hair. Last time he had that going, he wasn't swinging the bat very well. Now he's swinging the bat very well. Frank was always a big superstitious player and always felt that pulling the pant legs up or going with about 3 or 4 days worth of growth is what really turned you into a good hitter, right?
I had no time to think about stuff like that, right? It was hard enough to hit rather than worrying about what T-shirt I'm wearing and what I'm eating for breakfast or lunch. And I mean, the game is just too hard, you know. There's just too much to think about. I just want to think about whether my name was in the lineup and whether I was going to get some hits or not.
And that approach led to that.
That was a long way from where I started, that's for sure. And I'm always amazed when I see it up there along with the statue and all of the nice things in the Hall of Fame. So I'm very humble to be a part of all this and the way that I started the game. I mean, I can only thank everybody who had a part in my career for giving me the help that they gave me along the way, and I'm just very blessed all the way through.
Well, make it 11 straight plate appearances that Feldman has let DeJesus get away. 2 walks for David tonight. And the career that Frank is talking about began in the old Royals Academy, where he played alongside Ron Washington.
Yeah, Ron was our catcher. He was one of those rah-rah kind of guys, and he was one of those hey, batter guys. So he played with a lot of energy, and I tell you, he was a fun teammate.
And now Willie Bloomquist, who is 0 for his last 10, although lined out hard to right field in the first inning. And now hits it hard to Kinsler at second base, but that's the inning. Royals get a single and a walk and strand 2 in the 3rd.
Of course, it's been open for a week, and the Royals are projecting 10,000 fans through here in just this homestand alone. They had 400 people come through yesterday on tours, and that was just an off day. But as you can see, they are lining up as they have every single night, finding out all the information about Kansas City baseball, guys.
Wow, that's pretty good. 400 people on an off day.
They have tours all the time, and it's pretty neat the way they do it too. It's great history and the things that the tour guides have to know. I find that very, very impressive. But for fans to come out here and say, "Well, I'm gonna go to the Hall of Fame. I'll check the game out a little bit later." So what's it letting them in 40 at a time?
I think that sounds right. That was one of his first reports. 40 at a time. And we'd love to see fans to come out and enjoy the game and the Hall of Fame, but maybe you can take your time a little more when there's an off day. You don't have to worry about getting out there and finding your seat and watching the game as Hamilton sprays it foul, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's 40 guys every 15 minutes. They let 40 in, and every time I've been out here and been around, there have been lines every single time. But I was talking to one of the docents out here who was telling me about the 400 coming through yesterday, and I said, I need to get out here just for an hour. And she said, you better make it 2. It'll take you that long if you want to see all the history.
5 strikeouts for Zach, and the second time he's gotten Hamilton, who is now 0 for 15 with 10 strikeouts against the Royals this year. And here's all you need to know about Zach's year. Our league leaders brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. First in ERA complete games, fewest home runs, shutouts, and then second in fewest walks, wins, and 4th in strikeouts. He's up to 141 tonight with 5, and that is blasted to deep left. And Marlon Byrd gets the Rangers' first hit, and it's his 9th home run of the year.
Well, Zach tries to just do a give me over curveball here, Ryan, but this one stayed on the inner half, and Marlon Byrd hit it like he was looking for it. It just didn't go across the plate, didn't go down, just stayed right in the hitting path.
Now Blaylock on the next pitch grounds out to Callaspo. He's grounded out to Alberto twice. Royals baseball brought to you tonight by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Here's the last bit of the sun on a warm night at Kauffman Stadium. Very warm compared to what we've had the past couple of weeks. Felt a lot more like fall in the middle of the summer. As Nelson Cruz takes one under the chin. Struck out swinging in the second inning. He is playing with a fractured right ring finger, which he injured, and this is a lesson to all young players. Sliding headfirst into first base.
First base, home plate, no-nos.
Right on the outside, 2-1. When he batted the first time, I said he's a guy to watch out. 2 years ago, Kenny Lofton was traded away. The Rangers called up Nelson Cruz. He had 2 home runs, 5 RBIs here at Kansas City. Last year, Kevin Mensch was sent to the minor leagues. Cruz was called up. The Rangers happened to be here. He had 3 hits, including a 3-run home run. So he's had big games in his first game of the year here at Kauffman Stadium, but so far tonight a strikeout.
Well, Zach right now, he will chase the high fastball with the count 3-2. Zach just got to be kind of careful throwing a high fastball for a ball, but Nelson Cruz will chase that high fastball.
Went down and away, 98 miles an hour, 3-2. The home run hit by Marlon Byrd in this inning, only the 5th given up all year by Zach. He's walked his second. So 2 on, 2 out. David Murphy to the plate. Five home runs allowed in 138 innings. That's pretty good.
That's real good. That's almost like allowing none.
That comes in handy against this team. And pointed out last inning, they're not having a great year on offense, but they are still hitting home runs. Not sure what the Yankees have done tonight. Ron Washington team was just 1 home run behind the Yankees coming into tonight. So depending on what the Yankees have done, and now Kevin Schenk tells me no home runs so far. At the moment, the Rangers are tied with the Yankees, the league lead. It's 0-1 to Murphy. Something that Zach has done that a lot of pitchers can't do is accumulate an impressive number of strikeouts but not have a huge pitch count. Most strikeout guys are around 90, 100 pitches by the 5th inning.
Well, Zach is never really far off the mark, you know, even with his fastball, his slider, or his curveball. He's always within a few inches of the plate all the time, and I think that's where the big difference with him is. A lot of power guys throw a lot of fastballs up out of the zone, and very few have a real good command of their breaking ball. But Zach is pretty much under control. He's a total package. I mean, from balance to poise to just keeping it all together, being able to pitch both sides of the plate. He does a great job of it.
Now, early in the season, remember, he was getting a lot of strikeouts, but it was the pitch count that was hurting him. His first start against Chicago, 6 innings, 95 pitches, and then Cleveland, 5 innings, 104 pitches. But then the roll really began against these Rangers when he threw his first major league shutout in his 3rd start of the year. And 111 pitches in 9 innings.
I think some of those games where he got himself in trouble was games where he couldn't really get his fastball established. Teams, didn't really get it on the outer half. The inner half is more middle. And those teams really jumped on his fastball early and sort of took it out of play, and he had to try to figure out other pitches to try to go with, and then the foul balls tend to add up. And when he was more effective when he pitched both sides of the plate, there were a few games where he strictly stayed to the outer half of the plate. Then when you do that, you give up a lot more foul balls also.
Cruz over at first with 2 outs. Keep an eye on him. He has stolen 15. It's a part of a guy's game who has really good stuff that you don't talk a whole lot about. Foul balls, because sometimes the stuff is so good they can't put the ball in play.
Right.
And pitch count just continues to add up with all the foul balls. There's another one.
And a lot of times when you're pitching one side of the plate too, and the hitters are out there, and you have to make that really, really good pitch to get them out, and they just kind of tick it away, then hope for you to make a mistake, then they put the ball in place. So we've had a lot of games like that this year where the pitch count was more due to a lot of foul balls rather than the pitcher not having command of the strike zone.
Through the right side. How far will Cruz go? Going to try and go to 3rd. And Tien's throw is high and wide, but Murphy holds it first. So 1st and 3rd, 2 down.
Well, here Ryan, Zach throws a changeup right here, and Murphy just stays with it. You see the changeup didn't go down; it just stayed in the middle of the plate, and just as it was starting to tail off, Murphy was able to get the bat on, and Cruz never looked at the third base. He knew he was going 1st and 3rd as soon as that ball was hit.
now Taylor Teagarden grounded out sharply to Gordon in the second inning. One and 0. Teagarden grew up just outside of Dallas, went to the University of Texas, where he won the College World Series in '05, and then drafted by the Rangers. Grew up rooting for the Rangers. They have some tongue-twisting catchers. Taylor Teagarden and Jared Saltalamacchia. Not to be confused with former Pirates and Giants catcher Ed Ott. That's it, 5 letters. 1 and 2. Rangers with a run in this 4th inning on Marlon Byrd's home run to left. And Zach about ready to unload his 25th pitch of this inning. Cruz walked with 2 outs. Murphy's single got him over to third. Laid off the slider, 2 and 2. And Zach's shutout of the Rangers, it wasn't complete dominance. The Rangers just couldn't get the big hit against them. Remember, there was a leadoff triple, didn't come around to score, a leadoff double. Rangers couldn't get him around to score. A couple of different times, Zach was behind 3-0 and ended up with a strikeout. He strikes out his 6th, getting Teagarden. Rangers strand 2, but get a run. But you got to pay for a seat.
He's big enough.
Well, welcome to our Aussie friends from down under. Fans, the Bob Evans weekday playback has been extended to all Monday through Thursday games this year. It's a great deal. 4 Field Plaza tickets with $20 worth of concessions and unlimited free games and the outfield experience. All that for $44. 6 strikeouts for Zach. Royals down 1-0 on the Marlon Byrd home run. Billy Butler takes a breaking ball for strike 1. Billy grounded out to first in the first inning. Mark Teahen will follow him, and then Alberto Callaspo. Right center field, well hit. Over comes Cruz, and one down. And now Teahen is hitting .500 this year against the Rangers. He's 7 out of 14. Hit a home run and scored 4 times, and the Royals took 2 out of 3 from the Rangers in April.
He's in every bit closer to 300. He's doing it by the hard way. He's just hitting the ball up the middle, staying with his plan, driving the ball the other way, and his average just started climbing and just continues to climb.
One ball, one strike. Now the pitch that's in on him will give him trouble from time to time, but his levers are long enough where if he wanted to, he could get off the plate, couldn't he, and still reach the outside part of the plate?
If he wanted to, he really could. That inside pitch, rather than standing inside of it, rather than pulling that bottom hand forward and still hitting the ball that way, he tries to hook it, but it's also high, and he can't get to it. Kind of like that pitch right there. And you always see him fall backwards on it, but he just needs to learn to take that pitch there and force the pitcher back away from it. But he's sitting on 100 hits for the year.
Just foul off to the first base side. Well, if you look at him in the box from center field, you can really see that he has a lot of the batter's box to work with. And I would think that if you would get off the plate, the pitch that's in on his hands, well, if you're off the plate, it's not a strike anymore. It's off the plate.
Right. You just got to recognize that pitch being a ball and let it go. But that's a tough thing. And, you know, before Jose Guillen went out, that was the one pitch that he was having trouble with, the ball inside and off the plate, but continue to swing at it rather than take it for a ball.
2-2. Teahen singled to left in the second inning. Just missed the outside, full count. Here's that pitch. Feldman with the bare hand. Look at that play. Like a flashy shortstop throwing out Teahen, 2 down. Even he has to smile at that play.
Well, Ryan, he really does a great job getting off the mound here, and he knows he doesn't have a lot of time, but he made sure that he got that right foot down before he turned and tried to throw. And Blaylock did a real good job keeping that hop long and making it a longer hop so he can read it just a little bit longer.
It looked like he made a good decision with the long hop, but he had his feet crossed up. He had the wrong foot on the bag.
Well, he's not one of those accomplished first basemen yet. He's still learning how to play that position, coming from third base and going to DH, and all of a sudden you're first baseman. So most times when the ball is on the first base side, then you want to make sure that that left foot is on the inside part of the bag. Here, this could have been an ugly collision right here. So it's the left foot when the ball's on the first base side, but when it gets to the third base side, now you want to switch to the right foot.
Berto flied out to left first time, and now to center. Hamilton is there. Royals down in order in the fourth. receiver with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I think the Royals have a new strategy. They're going to be down going into the 8th inning tonight, and then they have the comeback in the 8th inning. What do you think?
Well, that's a good strategy, I believe. but you know, Zach's throwing the ball well, and you know, the one mistake, the home run, but it's a solo home run, so the Royals are really still in the game. So they just got to put a couple runs on the board and give him a little more confidence and make him get him to the point where he doesn't have to make that great pitch all the time. He can afford to make a mistake. But as far as stuff and velocity and being able to keep the Rangers under control, he's doing a good job right now.
Just 1 run, 2 hits, a single, and the Bird home run. 2 walks. He has struck out 6 in the first 4 innings. You got Andrus on a ground ball to short. 2-1. Shallow right, Callaspo out off his glove. And Andrus on his way to second base. And Andrus is going to get a double. Which isn't much consolation for Callaspo. I imagine as a fielder, Frank, when you get your glove on it, you feel like you should catch it.
Well, you definitely do, especially when it hits you on the heel of your glove. It hits off the tip of your glove. You say, okay, I didn't have a shot. But you see where this ball hits right here, Ryan, right in almost in the center of his palm, and that's one he's going to really regret not being able to hold on to.
And that play, even though it hit the heel of his glove, it still looks a lot easier in super slow motion than it does when you're running as hard as you can and reaching out at the same time.
I mean, the effort was outstanding. I mean, he got there, but you go talk to him, I tell you, he'll tell you over and over again, you know, I really should have had that. Once you get it in the palm of your hand, you think you should have it regardless of how far you go. Off the tip of your glove, you figured you gave it a good effort, but it just didn't work for you.
And now Kinsler, 0 for 2. He has reached on an error. 1 ball, 1 strike. Callaspo over there playing close to the bag and trying to keep Andrus close, but also talking to him quite a bit. They're both from Venezuela. And Callaspo might be asking, hey, what's it like playing with Omar Vizquel every day? Because you got to figure today's player, if he's an infielder growing up in Venezuela, Omar Vizquel is their idol, and that was the case with Andrus, and now he's being tutored by Omar Vizquel.
Well, that's valuable, Ryan. I mean, I go back to when I came up and I had Cookie Rojas, Freddie Patek, guys like that I could learn from for a couple of years before I started playing every day. And the things that they can teach you, the shortcuts they can teach you, is what makes you develop faster. And I don't think the Rangers could have done anything better than what they're doing right now with Omar Vizquel.
Two and two now on Kinsler. Here's the James B. Nutter and Company pitch count. Zach at 75 in 4+ innings. Right around a 2-to-1 strike to ball ratio. 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, and only 3 hits. It's Kinsler again, this time with the heat, and make it 7 for Zach. 1 down in the 5th inning.
This is just power versus power, Ryan. Zach said, here it is. This is my best fastball. Let's see what we can do with it. And he threw it right by Kinsler on this pitch.
Now Michael Young, who has walked and grounded into a double play.
It's got to be comforting as a pitcher to know that when you have to throw a fastball, when they know a fastball is coming, you can still throw it and throw it right by the hitter. That's a pretty good feeling.
When Zach faced Tampa Bay on Saturday, he said a key for him would be 2 categories: strikeouts and home runs, because the Rays hit a lot of home runs and they strike out a lot. In fact, the Rays with the second most strikeouts in the league. The team with the most strikeouts in the league, the Texas Rangers. And they're tied for the league lead in home runs. So I'm sure Zach is thinking along the same lines, that a key for him tonight is to get a lot of strikeouts and keep the ball down, because the Rangers are going to slug you to death.
Well, the key too, Ryan, is don't walk anybody. You just, as long as you don't walk them, you got a chance to get them out. And those strikeouts really can help you get out of some tough situations. But I think everything starts with a team that strikes out a lot, gets a lot of home runs. Everything starts with the walk.
Still 2-2. Bud Select will show us what's on tap for the Royals. Tomorrow night, Sunday afternoon with Texas. Again, it's Luke Hochaber tomorrow against Derek Holland. On Sunday, Sidney Ponson against Kevin Millwood. And then an 8-game road trip to Baltimore and another series against Tampa Bay. Great pitch. Michael Young didn't even wait around to hear the call. He knew he was out, and that's 8 for Zach in 4 2/3.
But when you see a right-handed hitter or any hitter take a fastball like that right on the outer half, he knows that even if he swings at it, there's not much he can do about it. Zach threw this ball off the outside corner and had it run back, and that was an outstanding pitch. Like you said, when he just turned right around and walk away.
A little bit inside on Hamilton. What happens if you're halfway to the dugout and the umpire still hasn't called a strike yet? Does a hitter have the option of saying, you know what, I don't care what you called, that's a strike, I'm out of here?
Unless he turns around and tries to sneak back in the box before you make your mind up. Chances are when you walk away, it's almost like you're automatically out.
In tonight's Sprint You Call It, who is the most dangerous Ranger? 40% agreeing with Frank, Ian Kinsler, then Josh Hamilton. 16% agreeing with me, Michael Young. Young so far 0 for 2 with a walk. Hamilton has struck out twice against Greinke. And with that ground ball, Josh Hamilton against the Royals this year, 0 for 16. Bread, explore a menu full of hearty soups, salads, sandwiches, and savory breakfast items. Panera Bread, where every detail matters. By AT&T, switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. And by Bud Select, full flavor, 99 calories, the exception to the rule. Warm Friday night. Zach Greinke on the mound. Fireworks after the game. A nice gathering for the Royals and the Rangers. Only trip to Kansas City this year for Texas. This weather is probably refreshing to them. Jacobs grounded into a double play in the second inning. Feldman has given up 2 hits, both singles. Twice the Royals have had the leadoff man on, but DeJesus caught stealing in the first, and then Tien was eliminated on the Jacobs double play. The Royals haven't been able to mount anything against Feldman. There's also walked 2. Had his first 1-2-3 inning in the fourth. Jacobs gets underneath it. Tough time of night. Be tough to find the ball, but Hamilton is on it. 1 down. Royals Alumni Fantasy Camp is coming up February 1st through the 5th next year at the Royals Spring Training Facility. And surprise, another great lineup of former Royals: George Brett, John Mayberry, Frank will be there, Dennis Leonard, Willie Wilson, Jeff Montgomery, John Wathen. $3,700 includes hotel, all ground transportation. Pena slicing it into the seats off to the left field side. You'll get 2 uniforms. You'll play 2 games a day, plus a game against the former Royals in the main stadium. An awards banquet while you're there. You'll get a locker in the Major League Clubhouse with all the amenities. You'll be taken care of by the Major League Clubhouse staff. Major League trainers will be there. 816-504-4150. 0-2 on Brian Pena.
I asked Brian before the game, Ryan, what area he'd like to improve on the second half, and he said game calling. He thinks that when you don't play a lot, that's the area that you really suffer as a catcher. So he comes to the ballpark every day early and watch video. He said he watches video of Miguel calling games, John Buck calling games, and the catcher that is not a part of the Royals that he likes to watch is Joe Mauer. He likes to watch him call games, and that's how he catches up. And then he goes out with Rock and Mizrarock and does his ball blocking and things like that. All the technical things that he needs to do in the cage, out down the bullpen with Mizrarock, the catching coach. And that's the only way he can really stay on top of things, just do the video and do the work in the bullpen.
Feldman strikes out his second, and now he's retired 6 in a row. Pena's 0 for 2. It's got to be a completely different experience, too, watching video, which is typically from the center field camera, which is this shot right here. This is what they're watching when they're looking at video. But it's a completely different angle when you're actually behind the plate and seeing the actual movement from the pitchers.
Right, I think what he can get from that is how the catchers go about blocking certain balls in the dirt. The technique they use, the pitch selection, the counts, what pitch they call in each count. Maybe that's how he's looking at the video. That's how I would look at the video and try to use the video. And then when I go down in the bullpen and work on my technical things, then I would try to use what I thought I could use from any of those guys to make me a little bit better. He said the one area that really is hard to really stay on top of is the throwing, the release time and just being accurate when you want to be accurate. And a lot of that comes from, in this day's baseball, you don't get a lot of infield practice before the game. Where we used to go out and take infield before almost every game, now they may take it the first game of the series and not take it anymore. So when you don't take it, then the 2 areas that are hurt most are your outfielders and your catcher, because that first throw for both of them, you in live action, and you don't have that pre-game practice before you have to make that throw.
I've got an idea. to help improve the defense, not just for the Royals, but every team. Lock the door to the batting cage. So you get your batting practice on the field, and then you take infield practice like all teams used to before the game. And to make sure the guys don't get worn out, you lock them out of the batting cage.
And you can also lock them out of the video room, and that'll force them to talk a little bit more, and then force them to watch the game a little bit more, watch the pitcher between innings, what he's throwing, what he's working on. Sometimes that'll tell you can eliminate a pitch before you go up there first pitch by just watching the pitcher. So you don't always have to keep running to the hitting coach, what this guy throw, and that type of thing. To me, that's a crutch. I mean, I think the player at some point, once you know what the guy throws, now it's your job to watch the pitcher during the game.
So Feldman walks his third, and now Betancourt single to center in the third inning. Bounce to Kinsler. Betancourt is out, and so the Royals in the fifth inning. Play by Alberto Callaspo. That was back in the fifth inning. Elvis Andrus into shallow right and just off of Callaspo's glove. That's our Coors Light Freeze Cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Ball one on Marlon Byrd, who homered to left in the fourth inning. His ninth of the year. Reached on an error his first time up. Betancourt, who gets a nice big hop over to Butler, and a quick out for Zach in the sixth inning. Zach really not in trouble as far as his pitch count goes. He's up to 87 at the moment, but it wouldn't hurt him to get more efficient to pitch deeper into the game. The long inning for him was a 26-pitch fourth. And now Blaylock, who was grounded out to second base twice. Curveball in for strike one. Blaylock usually unloading a swing like that, going for it all. There's really no gray area at all for him.
Well, when you swing up, it's hard to hit a ball up. So Zach's fastball has really got some late bite to, some late rise to it, and you just can't catch that ball when it's up like that.
Brian Pena working hard to block that pitch, even though there's nobody on base.
That's probably part of his practice. He probably figures, I don't know what I'm going to be in the game, so Mizrahi probably told him, hey, in the game, don't take any pitches off. Just keep working hard.
Did he go? Tom Hallion says yes, and Zach Has 9 strikeouts tonight, 2 down in the 6th inning. Working on number 9 there and there. Now that's an operation with the rope with some bungee cords to keep it close to the pole there, and those are like those rock climbing clips. And that's going to take a lot of cooperation with the folks around you if they're not all together. Because the way Zach's going, you're going to have to pass it down the aisle a few people. Cruz has walked and struck out against Zach. And he struck out again. 10 in 6 innings. But he's down 1-0 at the end of 5.5.
Nothing as we go to the bottom of the 6th, and this is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Grant Nelson from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Grant, you will win $800. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Grant, you will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
There's a former Royal and a former Ranger, Jim Sundberg, who's now in the Rangers front office, who turned in the most famous slide in Kansas City Royals history. Would you agree?
I agree. I think he turned in one of the most famous hits in Kansas City Royals history in the playoffs when he hit the triple with the bases loaded against I got to get my name together here for the Blue Jays. That was in Game 5.
Well, you were going to say Jimmy.
I was going to say Jimmy Key first, but that wasn't Jimmy Key. It's that hard slider throwing guy.
Dave Steeb?
Dave Steeb. Boy, the time's getting away from me, Ryan. Jeez. I'm glad I haven't forgotten everybody, but I'm working on it.
David has walked twice against Scott Feldman. And this might be it. Scott Feldman might ask to have this ball removed from the game. It's the first time he has ever retired David DeJesus. And it took him 12 plate appearances to do it. Wednesday, August the 5th is 80s Retro Night and Independence Honda Buck Night. You'll enjoy 80s trivia and costume contest. You'll dance to tunes by 80s cover band The Zeros and get a special ticket offer if you're spotted wearing a fanny pack. Ball one to Willie Bloomquist. Willie is lined to right, grounded out to second base, and now over his last 11. Just 1 for 14 in the Angels series. Breaking ball makes it 1-2. Feldman, one of those guys that teams just luck into every now and then. Not someone that you expect to make it to the big leagues. 30th round draft pick in 03 out of a junior college in California in the Bay Area. Tommy John surgery the next year. Bloomquist just on the line and into right field. Played well by Cruz, but now he boxes it around, and Willie is into second with a 1-out double.
Willie's been making an effort to go to right field the whole evening in his previous 2 at bats, and here he slices one right down the line. This may have even hit right on the line, Ryan, and just goes into foul territory. Cruz comes over, thinks he's got it played, with a play at second base, but bobbled the ball. You can see where this ball hits right here. Just has to hit right on the outside of that line.
Oh, did it?
I see a little white flying up right there.
Right.
So.
A little harder these days when everything is painted on the grass. No more chalk, so you don't get the nice white chalk kicking up, which would make it a lot easier for the umpires. So the Royals have their second runner at second base all night. Billy is grounded to second, fly to right, so trying to go to the right side against Feldman tonight, and doing so again and fouling it away. Tomorrow night's game also in high definition, brought to you by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. Luke Hochaver against Derek Holland. 6:10 first pitch. Royals live at 5:30. So Feldman, a 30th round pick, and then after he was drafted a year later, Tommy John surgery. So you wondered how he felt about his chances getting to the big leagues after that. He did get to the big leagues in 05 for the first time, but from the end of 05 to the beginning of 2007, he was up and down from the minor leagues to the big leagues 10 different times. I mean, the Rangers made full use of his option years. And now having a very good year at 8-3 and pitching good tonight. It's 2-2 on Butler.
He's really boring that fastball in on Billy right there. That ball just came in and just disappeared under Billy's bat. It's similar to the same pitch to Willie Bloomquist early in the game on the hit and run. It just sort of just bored in, and just when Billy went to commit, the ball just wasn't there.
Hit hard into right center field, but slice on it, and Cruz over to get it for the second out.
That's one of those balls there where Willie's got to go back and tag on this ball, Ryan. Whether he goes to third base or not, it doesn't matter. But you can't be halfway when this ball is caught. You got to go back to the bag, and even if it's dropped, you got to come back, tag, then go to third. So it's always safer to come back, tag, and wait and see what happens.
Now Feldman has to get past Martin, singled in the second inning. And then Feldman jammed Tien badly in the fourth, but Tien almost ended up with an infield single with a little dribbler to the third base side of the mound. Feldman, though, picking it up with his bare hand and making maybe the best defensive play of the night, throwing him out. Tien's had a good year this year against the Rangers. Out over the plate and fouls it away. There's a young Royals fan who will never forget that baseball. 10 years from now, he'll remember that that foul ball was hit by Mark Tien. 1-1. The only run of this game, a Marlon Byrd home run against Greinke in the fourth inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the challenge here for Mark, and I'm sure this will be easier for him now that he's been around for a while and knows more about his strengths and limitations, is just to stay where he is. Don't pay attention to where you're hitting in the lineup, which happens to be fourth.
I think that's the deal. Just know what kind of hitter you are and just stay that way regardless of where the manager puts you.
For some guys, easier said than done.
Well, definitely. Everyone wants to take on that persona, you know. And I mean, you are what you are. And if you're hitting, no matter where you're hitting the lineup, you have to hit strikes. No matter where you're pitching in the rotation or out of the bullpen, you still have to throw strikes. So if you keep that in mind, it shouldn't matter what your role is. Your role is to hit strikes, throw strikes.
Bloomquist at second base with a 1-out double and now 2 away. Feldman wants to talk over this 2-2 pitch with Teagarden. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and description for this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Bloomquist double, snapping an 0 for 11. Laid off it, gets away from Teagarden, and Willie moves up to third base.
This pitch here, Ryan, this is a slider that goes down, but you can see that this ball got through his leg before he got his glove down. So that's a big misread by Teagarden on this pitch.
And you wonder how that affects Feldman. Is he going to want to throw that pitch again with a runner at third base? Left it out over the plate and right at Marlon Byrd in left field. The Royals lead Bloomquist at third base. Still 1-0 Texas. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Marlon Byrd, the difference in the game. A one-out home run to left against Zach back in the 4th inning. Zach has retired the last 6 with 4 strikeouts. And now Murphy into center. That's well struck. But Willie with a track to run it down. Murphy 1 for 3. Royals baseball brought to you tonight by Thoroughbred Ford. Save on the all-new 2010 Fusion or the hot new 2010 Mustang at Thoroughbred Ford. Is that a waning crescent?
That's a waxing.
Oh, okay. No idea. Apparently I slept through astronomy. I got the full moon down.
That's my favorite. How about a blue moon?
You know what that is?
I know blue moon odor.
Now this I know. Do you know what a blue moon is?
It's like two full moons twice a month. Once a month.
I think it's
a full moon twice a month.
Is it? Is it 2 or is it 3? It's 2.
It's 2.
Because it goes through a whole cycle once a month. So yeah, 2 full moons. It's not actually blue, but that's where the term comes. Once in a blue moon, because that hardly ever happens where you get 2 full moons in 1 month. Or is it blue? I don't know.
No, once in a blue moon. I just found out. I just learned something new real quick.
Yeah. Stick around.
Yeah. I have nowhere to go.
Zach walks his 3rd, and Trey making the call down to the bullpen. As Zach is now at 101 pitches, and Bob McClure will try and give Colon some time. He'll go out to talk to Zach. Make that 102 pitches for Zach. 21 in the first, 26 in the 4th, so a bit high for him considering the score. 3 walks and 10 strikeouts. The 10 strikeouts ties a season high for him. It's the 4th time he's done it this year, and the 2nd time he's done it against the Rangers. His career high is 11. It was last year against Oakland. Ball 1 on Elvis Andrus, who doubled off of Callaspo's glove in the 5th inning and grounded out in the 3rd. Well, Ron Washington stresses defense, and that was his strength when he was a coach with the Oakland A's. He really improved several infielders' careers by working with them, and that was something that the Rangers would hope he would bring to Texas. Didn't work out the first couple of years, partly because they didn't have very good defensive players. But defense has been one of their strengths, and some believe that it wasn't just a matter of guys catching on, because everyone's trying to make the plays on defense, but the decision that the Rangers made to bring up Elvis Andrus and move Michael Young to 3rd base. Michael Young won the Gold Glove at shortstop last year. They move him to 3rd, and some believe that was a message that the Rangers were sending to their players. Hey, defense is more important than the bat. We don't care what this kid does with the bat. We just want him to make all the plays on defense.
Well, I talked to him before the game, Ryan, and he just felt like it took 2 years to get his message through to the players, to where offense wasn't the main thing that makes you win. You have to have pitching, you have to have defense, and you have to have aggressive base runners. And he's really where he really feels like they've gotten it now, and he said they really look forward to taking the extra base and going first and third, something that they haven't thought about in the last five or 6 years. It's all station to station and wait for the long ball.
And it's really good to see the Rangers playing well with Ron Washington, a guy who's been overlooked so many times. Great coach, never got a chance to manage until Texas, and some believe he was on the hot seat coming in this year, and that would have been sad if he didn't get an opportunity, because the pitching has been so bad for so long in Texas, and it's not Ron Washington's fault. And if you don't have players who could play defense, I mean, he can help them out somewhat, but you have to have the ability. But now they're pitching with the help of Mike Maddox, who has come over in his first year as pitching coach and playing more of a Ron Washington style on defense and at the plate. Teagarden is running, and that has rolled just foul. Butler tried to get to it before it spun foul. Still 3-2. StubHub.com is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Royals, and you can see just how easy it is to score great seats at any game. Just go to StubHub.com.
You know, Ryan, coming out of the Boston series, they stole 11 bases in the Boston series, and you wouldn't even attribute that with a Texas ball club, and 6 in one game and didn't get caught. And they've attempted to double steal 12 times this year. Only been thrown out at third once, never been picked off. So he feels like they finally just gotten it, and he feels good about it. Gary Pettis feels good about it. I mean, you look what Ron, when he was in A-ball at San Jose, he stole 74 bases, and Gary Pettis in '85 with the Angels stole 56 bases. So these guys are definitely defense, base running oriented type coaches, and they just feel like the players today on this particular ball club are really excited about the base running aspect and the defense. They're really starting to see the value of it.
They've stolen third base 21 times.
That's pretty good balance.
To Alex, no play at second base with Teagarden running. That's the second out. So Teagarden to second base. And Ian Kinsler to the plate, beginning the fourth time to the order for the Rangers. Two strikeouts for Kinsler among Zach's 10 tonight. And he reached on an error by Betancourt in the third inning. Back now at 111 pitches. Still throwing 96 with pitch number 112.
So they've only got caught once still in third in Tampa Bay, which is a running team. Have been caught 9 times still in third. So they've really.
The Rangers only once?
Only once.
Wow.
So they've really went to work on that.
One ball, one strike. Zach moving up on a season high for pitches. He's at 113 right now. His season high was 116. And that was against the Tigers in late May, and he went all 9 innings in that one. Right field for Tien. So Greinke allows just 1 run in 7 innings for a second consecutive start. Bottom of the 7th inning. Panera takes us around the American League. Tigers and the White Sox playing a doubleheader. And the Tigers sweeping the doubleheader to put Chicago 2 games back. They had been tied after Mark Burley's perfect game yesterday. The Yankees on their way to their 8th consecutive victory. They have a 2.5 game lead over Boston. Boston is in front of Baltimore. Tampa Bay beating Toronto in 10 innings. Rays 6.5 back in the East. Minnesota will be at the Angels later tonight, a game the Rangers will be keeping an eye on as they trail the Angels by 3.5 in the West. Callaspo, Jacobs, and Pena in the bottom of the 7th inning against Feldman. Callaspo has flied out twice. Once to left field, once to center. Feldman's only given up 3 hits. 2 singles, a double to Bloomquist. He's walked 3. Back to Feldman. It's tough to get it by him at 6'5". Callaspo is 0 for 3, 1 down in the 2nd. The Kansas City Royals, the state of Missouri, and Fox Sports Kansas City have joined together to encourage young people not to smoke, because once you start, it's hard to stop. So strike out tobacco so we can all breathe. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Jacobs rolled into a double play in the 2nd inning, flied to center in the 5th. Ball, 1 strike. Jacobs had kind of an up and down series for the Royals in Texas in April. He had 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. But remember, he made an error in the final game of the series on a ground ball right at the bag, which bounced off of his glove and helped the Rangers rally late to win the game. 2 balls, 1 strike. Broke his bat. Blaylock was right on the line, 2 down. Hey fans, the Royals are excited to announce Royals Fundamental Youth Clinics for kids 6 to 12 years of age. 40-minute sessions include instruction from Royals alumni in hitting, pitching, and fielding. The next clinics are scheduled for August 4th, 5th, and 6th. To learn more, sign up at royals.com/fundamentals. Ryan Pena is grounded out to first and struck out. Feldman working on 7 shutout innings. Feldman lost his last start. That was against Minnesota on Saturday. Gave up 3 runs in 6 innings. Pena drives it to left, but Bird is there, and down go the Royals in the 7th inning. 7 scoreless for Feldman. Another impressive Zach Greinke performance. Unfortunately, the best he can hope for tonight is a no decision as he departs after 7 innings, giving up just 1 run, 3 hits, a solo home run to Marlon Byrd back in the 4th inning. Now the Royals will try and make sure it is a no decision as John Bale comes on for the 26th time. Bale has pitched in a combined 17 innings. He struck out 17 over that stretch, but 10 walks. That's contributed to his high ERA at 5.82. He'll get Michael Young, Josh Hamilton, and Marlon Byrd. And it's 0-2 on Young. A walk in the 1st inning. And then grounded into a double play and struck out against Greinke.
What an outstanding performance by Zach tonight. I mean, he came out and he just sort of powered the Rangers, you know, with the 10 strikeouts and had a couple walks there, but that didn't really matter. It was just a 1 pitch to Byrd that really hurt him, but you'll take this performance every night. I mean, just outstanding stuff.
Still 1-2. Well, Frank, 38% agreeing with you, and you call it, presented by Sprint, followed by 32% Josh Hamilton. Mine may have been a little bit of a stretch going with Michael Young. I was thinking more of a dark horse, dangerous Rangers hitter.
Well, I mean, he's a guy that puts up a lot of hits. I mean, I agree. I mean, I couldn't fault what he did. I mean, he's an all-star this year, too. I mean, I can't fault that much. I was just looking at the fact the position, the defense, you know, 6 errors on the year, the 21 stolen bases coming into the night, 23 home runs. You know, for a leadoff guy, that's pretty good production.
Second highest total of home runs this year in the American League from your leadoff guy. Hit hard, and Bloomquist read it well. 1 out in the 8th inning. So Zach, with back-to-back starts now, giving up just 1 run in 7 innings. But now the Royals have scored 9 runs in his last 7 starts. Do the math. 9 total runs in his last 7 starts. His ERA goes down tonight by 4 points, 2.04. Past Bale, Callaspo gets Josh Hamilton, and man, have the Royals handled him. Hamilton 0 for 4 tonight, 0 for 17 against the Royals this year with 10 strikeouts. And now Marlon Byrd, and his swing back in the 4th inning has produced all the offense tonight.
Well, Zach just started him off with a curveball, Ryan, that really backed up into his swing, didn't go across the plate, and he drove it into left field. That was really the only bad pitch he's made all night.
9th home run of the year, 45th RBI. Marlon Byrd, a former big prospect in the Phillies organization. An all-star every year in the minor leagues. He was labeled with the dreaded 5-tool potential. You know, I was thinking about that. If you're a 5-tool guy, the pressure that puts on a young player, I mean, you can't just focus on a couple parts of your game that are really strong. I imagine you feel like you have to do everything great
all the time.
I mean, let's say he's a 3-tool guy. I want to go out and I want to play good defense. I want to hit 300 with an occasional home run. There's 3 of the 5 tools. But no, when you're a 5-tool guy, you have to have a great arm.
And you have speed.
And you have to have great speed. So you got to make sure you're stealing bases. And as you've said, this game is hard enough to play as it is, and you got enough swimming around in your head, but trying to live up to 5-tool potential.
Well, the one that you will probably lose first when you first sign, all the tools look great. And when you get to the major leagues, then basically what tool is going to be the separator? You're going to keep your speed, you're going to keep your strong arm, but you can hit the occasional home run. but just hitting for an average. Dude, that's usually is the thing that makes a big difference.
So Bird at first, 2 down, and now Hank Blaylock, who's 0 for 3. Denny and I, for several years, would have this debate on radio about what stat should a guy try and achieve every year. And his theory always was you can't go wrong, no matter how you look at it, if you have 200 hits. Long run for Bloomquist, and he won't get there. So another run scores against the Royals in the 8th inning. And the Rangers take a 2-0 lead. And on this homestand, it's been the dreaded 8th inning.
Well, it's a fastball that stayed up out over the plate, and this ball was driven to the left center field. Willie Bloomquist had to come a long way and just couldn't get to it. One thing about Blaylock, he can drive the ball as well to the opposite field as he can the right field on the pull side. But Willie's playing on the left field, on the right field side, and this ball just kept telling away. He just didn't have the speed to catch up with it.
The run that scores, by the way, reached on a walk. So there you go again, a walk hurting John Bale. Now an intentional walk to Cruz, setting up a lefty-lefty with Murphy. But anyway, as far as important stats, you know, a guy can say, I want to drive in 100 runs. Well, you might not have an opportunity to drive 100 runs, depending on how many guys are on base, or for that matter, scoring 100 runs. And somebody's got to drive you in to score 100 runs, or you want to hit 300, or you know, you want to hit 40 home runs where you're going to go up to the plate thinking about a home run. And the theory of you get 200 hits, it's pretty tough to have a bad year if you get 200 hits. And I'm speaking to, you know, the 5-tool potential. Which one's most important? Getting a lot of hits.
Oh boy, that's a lot of hits. You know, not a lot of guys get 200 hits in a season. That's the tough part. But I don't know. Your overall production, home runs, RBI, they stand out. A balance between your batting average and the runs you drive in. It's kind of hard, but 200 hits is awful hard to get in a season. But 200 hits don't always equate to it. It equates to a high batting average, but it doesn't always equate to whether you are a productive hitter or not.
But if you have that many hits, I mean, it's tough not to have pretty good RBI total when you have. I mean, I see your point.
Yeah, it depends on how many times you're leading off.
Yeah,
I'm just
good point. Yeah,
I'm being a little facetious.
No. I take your point though. I mean, even if you are, you know, let's say you're a number 4 hitter, number 3 hitter, let's say that you just, the way fate has it, you're leading off all the time. But if you have 200 hits, you're probably going to score 100 runs.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I agree with that.
So you might not be driving in the runs, but you might be scoring the runs. Murphy 1 out of 3, singled against Greinke in the 4th inning. Drove one to the warning track in center field in the 7th. In Zach's last inning. Two and 0. Breaking ball makes it 2-1. Murphy hitting .286, but you have to factor in how he began the year, which was 0 for 23. Since then, he's hitting .320. So the scoreboard says .286, but realistically, that's a .320 hitter up at the plate. Another good breaking ball, and it's 2-2. Full count. Murphy has faced Bale 3 times before tonight and has a hit. 1 out of 3. Hit his first major league grand slam against the Royals here last year against Jimmy Gobble, a left-hand pitcher. So does a pretty good job of hanging in against the lefties. And the runners take off as Murphy strikes out. That's the inning. With the Rangers add a run, Royals trail by 2 to the bottom of the 8th. Tonight, it does not ruin a Royals lead. It just extends Texas's lead to 2-0. Everything you knew about fantasy football is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with more customizable features and new ways to play. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football. Customizable. Scott Feldman to the mound, trying to do to the Royals what Zach Greinke did to his team back on April the 18th. Throw a shutout. Feldman has never thrown a shutout in the big leagues. Alex breaks his bat. Andrews can't get it, and the Royals have the leadoff man on in the 8th inning. Alex 1 out of 2. He's also walked. Only the 4th hit tonight against Feldman.
Well, this is a lot of strength right here, Ryan, to be able to break your bat where Alex broke his bat around his hands and still hit a line drive, you know, in the center field. That's pretty nice. Ooh.
Watch your
lips. And that tells it all right there. You just have to watch his eyes. I tell you, that's got to be a frightening thing as a pitcher, just seeing a line drive come by. You don't really know how everything looks like it's a rocket coming back by you, but fortunately the ball got by and got into center field and didn't cause any damage.
So Friel runs for Gordon. Betancourt has one of the 4 hits. Feldman, by the way, has never thrown a shutout as a professional. First got to the big leagues as a reliever, and we told you earlier about some of the arm troubles early in his pro career. One ball, 1 strike. Told you earlier that Scott Feldman, in none of his 16 starts before tonight, had pitched more than 6 2/3 innings. So he accomplished that, getting the final out against Payne in the 7th. This is the first time he's gone 7 this year. as Betancourt lifts it to Cruz in right field. So the season high extends to 7 1/3 innings. And that's a new career high for Feldman, 7 1/3 in a big league game.
He's really pitched well tonight, Ryan. Not a lot of hard hit balls, and he's kept the ball in play, and he's done everything he needed to do to get deep in the game. Just threw strikes and had the Ross put the ball in play.
For our young viewers tonight, this is not your father's Royals-Rangers matchup. I can think of several games where these two teams would get together and nobody could get anyone out. And you're looking at 11-8 in 3 hours and 45 minutes. It seems like every single game. Friel leaning towards second base, and that may have caught the attention of Feldman. Friel has not attempted a stolen base yet this year. Still jumping around over at first, and now the ball gets away from Teagarden, and Friel moves up to second base. So that run that the Rangers scored in the top of the 8th is big, as Friel does not represent the tying run. DeJesus does. David walked his first 2 times up, grounded out in the 6th, and that ground out is the first time ever that Feldman has retired David DeJesus. David had reached against Feldman in 11 consecutive plate appearances, 5 hits, and 6 walks. That'll get Friel over to third base. Andrus gets to Jesus, 2 down in the 8th. And up comes Bloomquist, who's 1 for 3. Joel Goldberg.
Well, guys, after the game, Jamie Cork, Paul Splitter, and myself will be up at Rivals. And if you want to send in some questions via text, you can text them to 432-432, keyword Friday, space, and then your question, and we will take those. Do not send them to Paul Splitter's cell phone. He won't get them. He doesn't have a cell phone. We keep trying, but send them right here, 432-432, and we will do our best. Split says you can send them to his cell phone, apparently. Guys?
0-1 to Bloomquist. What happened to those text messages when someone doesn't have a cell phone? It's going to float around in space. Line to second base. Bloomquist is out, and that's 8 scoreless innings for Feldman. take the field in the top of the 9th inning. And Mark Tien moves over to third base. Friel running for Alex Gordon in the bottom of the 8th. Mercedes-Benz E-Class attention assist of the game. This double play turned by the Royals back in the 3rd inning against Michael Young.
Well, Caspo and Bencourt made this look easy. A nice little soft feed, and he just ran right through the ball and made a nice throw with the ability to complete the double play.
And now Roman Colon will face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, beginning with Taylor Teagarden, who is 0 for 2, but so far he has caught 8 scoreless innings from Scott Feldman. Tien, nice play, 360 turn, high throw to Butler, who comes down on the bag and avoids what could have been a worse collision with Teagarden. One down in the 9th.
I can imagine coming from the outfield and having to play this tough, be your first play, and Mike did a real good job of staying with that ball to his left, and Billy did a great job getting up and coming back down on the bag. Now here was Mike just gets turned around and couldn't quite get on top of the ball, threw down below, and that ball kind of sailed on him, but Billy did a good job getting up and down. Like you said, just fortunate enough that nobody had a collision at first base on that play.
Andrews taking high and immediately looking down at Tien, trying to drive him into the grass. Tien moving back, though, even with the bag on the dirt. And it's 1-1. Andrews 1 for 3 with a double that popped off the heel of Alberto Callaspo's glove. Alberto sprinting out into right field, trying to catch up to Andrews' bloop back in the 5th. Running again and back into the screen. The Royals in the bottom of the 9th. And we assume against Scott Feldman, who will be going for his first major league shutout, we'll have Butler, Tien, and Callaspo. Chest high hop for Betancourt, 2 down in the 9th. And the batter is Ian Kinsler, former MU Tiger, 0 for 4, struck out twice against Greinke. Zach gave up 3 hits in 7 innings, 1 run. A Marlon Byrd home run. Struck out 10, tying a season high. The Royals scoreless in 8 innings so far against Feldman. John Bale allowed a run in the 8th inning. Two and 0. Spin on this ball, and Betancourt takes the spin out of it, throws out Kinsler. Colon has a scoreless 9th. Last chance for the Royals to the bottom of the 9th. Cayaspo. And then after the game from Rival Sports Bar out in right field, Boulevard Royals Live with Joel, Jamie, and Split. Brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City's beer. Well, Scott Feldman will not get a chance for his first Major League shutout. He is done after 8 innings and 110 pitches. It'll be C.J. Wilson. He'll be going for his 10th save. Wilson has been the Rangers' closer before, but this year began with Frank Francisco, who has 15 saves this year. But Francisco right now is on the disabled list for the 3rd time this year, at the moment with walking pneumonia. So Wilson is filled in nicely. Looking at Scott Feldman's season, his season high for pitches 116. So not being stretched that much had Ron Washington run him out there for the 9th. It's 0-1 to Butler. Billy was 0 for 3 against Feldman. A ground ball and 2 fly balls to right field.
I think Ron Washington probably felt he's gotten a lot more out of him tonight than he's been getting in the past, and this is a good way to get him out of the game. Don't let him get in any trouble, and build his confidence for the next start.
One and two. Well, Feldman had never gone more than 7 innings in his career, and he hadn't gone more than 6 2/3 innings this year. So even though he wasn't stretched out that much as far as pitches, he's not used to going this deep into the game. And if he had been, maybe Ron Washington would give him a shot at the shutout. And now he's just standing and cheering from the dugout. Billy to first, smothered by Blaylock, 1 out. And now Mark Tien. Tien has 1 of the 4 hits, a single back in the 2nd inning. Royals have been shut out 8 times, and the fewest hits they've had in a shutout is 2. When Jeff Neiman shut him out in Tampa Bay in early June. That was a 9-0 game. Royals were shut out right before the All-Star break by Josh Beckett in Boston. That was a 3-hit shutout. One thing the Royals won't have to talk about with Feldman out in the 9th inning is another pitcher getting their first Major League shutout against the Royals. Joe Saunders of the Angels did that in early May, and then Neiman in early June. Never want to get shut out, but you never want to be some guy's first shutout. He's never done it before until he shuts you out.
Well, that's when you always look at yourself and say there's some doubt in your offense. And usually when you see new pitchers, usually you take advantage of them first before they take advantage of you.
Feldman having a good year, 8 wins and a 3.87 ERA coming in tonight. That's going down, of course, and the league only hitting .233 against him. That's one of the best in the American League. Tien is down, and the Royals are down to their last out. And now it comes down to Wilson and Alberto Cayaspo, has never faced C.J. Wilson. 25,012 here tonight on one of the rare warm nights this summer. We've had very mild temperatures. Alberto against Feldman, 0 for 3. Now the Royals down to their last strike. Rangers have thrown 5 shutouts this year. Three of the 5 have been combined shutouts. As far as complete game shutouts, a couple of guys on the disabled list right now, Matt Harrison and Brandon McCarthy. They went the distance. The other 3 a combination of pitchers. Up the right field line, fair, and the Royals are still breathing in the ninth. Cayasco trying for 2. Cruz has a good arm, safe. Andrews can't believe it. Neither can Ron Washington.
Alberto does a great job battling with 2 strikes, and he gets his ball right down the right field line, and Cruz is sitting there waiting on it. This is a risky play for Alberto going to second base with 2 out. There's a strong throw. But like I say, if Andrews stays back at the bag and let the ball travel, he's got a real good chance of making this play look a lot better, right?
Well, you can't say Jerry Crawford wasn't in position.
But if he's got that right foot against the bag, then let this ball travel. He can tag straight down, and that probably would be an out. But that's too close right there. Be it down by 2 runs in the 9th inning with 2 outs.
You can't get any closer than Jerry Crawford was, but there you go. It appears the glove is on the knee before the left foot hits the bag, but that's close, and that's extra slow motion freeze frame. Feldman taking it out on his cap. And now Miguel Olivo, who is pinch hitting for Mike Jacobs. No balls, 1 strike. Last year, Miguel Olivo with a pinch hit home run against George Sherrill in Baltimore. Royals were down 2-0. The count was 0-2. And hitting a home run to tie it, Royals won in the 11th. That thing landed way in front of home plate. Let me take that back. The Royals were down 1-0. And Sherrill to the pinch hitter Miguel Olivo. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Looked like the game was over. Olivo with a home run to left. Royals winning it in the 11th on a Jose Guillen base hit. And you figure Miguel wasn't happy about being left out of the lineup tonight with Zach Greinke on the mound. He went 1-2. Olivo's faced C.J. Wilson once, 0 for 1.
Well, right now he's in a situation, Ryan. Right now, you just got to put the ball in play. You know, the first 2 strikes, you want to try to do something. They chase 2 bad balls, so you got to make sure he gets a pitch. He can just try to get a base hit right here and keep the inning going.
Wilson tried to kick it. Kinsler behind the bag throws out Olivo, and the Royals are shut out for the 9th time this year. So Feldman with a career high 8 innings. Improves to 9-3. And the Texas Rangers continue to win. Not winning like they normally win. Tonight doing it with pitching and defense. Single runs in the 4th and 8th innings. And Ron Washington's team has won 5 in a row.